I have a Canon EOS T3i. Mm-hmm. It's like 6 or 7 years old.
Okay.
But
yeah, like 7 years old. There's
it's like barely like 720.
Like the amount of like stuff that's changed in 7 years in cameras.
Yeah, it's a lot. And even when we got it back then, I think it was like $700. So it was like a lot of money, but
right.
So you think about it then. So what? 2013, like the iPhone quality wasn't even that good.
No, it was like boxes back then.
Yeah, it was trash. Mm-hmm. And now you think about it now, like it's so, like it's insane. You look at the all the other products, like the Huawei.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
Like their camera quality is nuts.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at it, like my brother-in-law has it. It's insane. I'm like, my God.
Even this phone, man. I'll tell you, like this is a OnePlus 8.
So do you have a Samsung?
I have a OnePlus 8 Pro. And
OnePlus 8 Pro?
OnePlus 8 Pro. It's a Chinese company. Oh. But this is like right now the fastest phone on the market.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. And it is so freaking snappy. The camera is insane.
Yeah. Well, even the photos you took at Ryerson.
Yeah.
Like in front of the board. I'm like, this is great.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that was actually my old phone. This one's even better. Like.
Oh, so you got a new one since then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oops.
a little blurry, just a little blurry.
There we go.
Oh yeah. You can tell how many dots are on the couch.
It's a really good phone.
That's nuts. Oh yeah, let's
get to the podcast. Yeah.
All right. So this one's recording, and now this one's recording. So,
okay.
You just talk right into it, so you test it.
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right, we got a little surprise intro here. All right, boys, we're back in the studio. We have a very special guest, the founder and CEO of Core Gems, a strawberry wine connoisseur, as we well known, and just an overall stud. Literally, I tell people you're the most interesting person I've ever met.
That is not true.
Which is like a high praise, I know.
That is not
true. But welcome to the Just Chillin Podcast. It was just me recording my friends' stories and stuff like that. Muhammand Ali, thank you so much for coming.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, dude. I wanted to do this because I think that, I'll get into this, but as soon as we met, I think at the Ryerson case competition,
right.
It was just like this divine intervention. It was just so dope. I don't know. Like I was just like, who the hell is this guy? So the story was like, I'll just put the glasses on here because I can't actually see anything. So it was Maddie's birthday. My girlfriend Maddie. Mm-hmm. We didn't come to the orientation day, which I don't think you went to either.
No, I didn't go to that either.
And it was just like so pointless. Like it was just like games and shit like that, right? Team building. And it was funny because I'm like, yeah, let's not go to that. We'll go to the actual case competition. Right. So you were like up for like how many days?
I'd been up for like a day and a half at the start of the competition, and then like I stayed up the whole competition. So by the end of it, it'd been close to about like almost 80 hours by the end of it.
80 hours. So yeah. That's nuts.
It's exhausting.
We came at literally like 4 a.m.
Right.
And I was like, my God, we paid like $60 for parking because it was the underground. We're in downtown Toronto. It was underground, and it was like a day and a half or something like that. Anyways, doesn't matter. And it was a really fun time. So in the morning, did you get there that night or did you come the next night? I don't remember.
I got there. So I didn't come there for the first day, which was the orientation.
Yeah.
Then, so orientation during the day. Then there was so I came like during the night before the competition.
Yeah.
Before the actual competition.
So I think the same night because you came in later than us. So I think you came in like 5 a.m.
I just got there a few hours later than you guys. Because I was waiting for the go to be open so I could actually get to there.
Oh, okay. Because I think you were working the day before, but it was just really cool because like we're in like a 2-bedroom hotel and like we're all like sleeping on the couch.
Like, 5 dudes?
Five, yeah.
5
dudes,
guys. 2 beds.
Yeah.
That's pretty typical ratio, I think. That's
I think so for like saving money and like we didn't want to. You're gonna pay another
not worth
another
it.
room. Definitely not worth it. It was just kind of cool. So how we met. So at the competition, Ryerson, great competition there, and then. It was like the night we were all gonna go out. Dawson, Justin were like, "Yo, I gotta do this." Like, remember they were doing like some assignment or something?
Yeah.
And I think you and I really wanted to go down the hot tub.
Exactly.
Because we wanted to like join all the amenities and all that stuff.
We wanted to make our $80 worth it. That was our goal.
Oh, I didn't pay anything. Did you pay $80?
Yeah, I paid $80.
Well, I basically paid $80 for the freaking parking.
Right, there you go.
So
okay,
I'm like,
enough.
all right, I'm gonna get my $70 worth. So it was just like a quick thing, like, oh, are we gonna? I think you're like, yo, I want to go down the hot. And I was just like, yeah, let's just go.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll go.
Nobody else was agreeing, and like everyone else wanted to do their own thing. So like, we just like, all right, let's go.
So, and it was like, I was talking to Dawson the other day too, and we recorded this. I was like, it's that fun thing where you're like, you just say yes to a lot of things, and then you just like do a whole bunch of fun opportunities.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, we go down to the hot tub, and we remember we had the strawberry wine, obviously.
Yeah.
And we just take a little shot of that, and it was a lot of fun. And then we go down, and we're just like start chewing the shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I obviously just realized like how chill you are, and that's the thing. I never met you because I thought. So we have another friend named Muhammad Malak, and they just said it was Muhammad. They're like, "Yo, it's Muhammad coming." I was like, "Oh, dope, Malak! Like he went to Brock with us. Like he was so dope." Right. And then obviously like you walk in, they're like, "No, it's Ali." And I was like, "Wait, what's that? What's going on?" I had no idea.
That's the downside to having the most common name on earth.
Yeah, true.
It is literally the most common name on earth.
Yeah.
Other than maybe Lee. Like it's Muhammad and Lee. Those are two. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I would say Muhammad is probably the most popular
first name
one.
for sure. Yeah.
And it was just funny because I was like, all right, yeah, let's go down the hot tub. And then like I said, we started chewing the shit, and I started learning more about you. So, were you born in Pakistan? Or
yeah,
were you
born in Pakistan.
Yeah.
I came to Canada when I was 5.5, and that's how it started.
Not bad. And then you came right to Ontario.
Yeah,
around the Ontario area.
Yeah, so I lived in North York at first, and I went to SK. I got in so much trouble when I was a kid.
Were you a little shit?
I was the little shit. I was like
the definition of a little shit.
It was like teachers would hate my sisters because of my reputation that I had left behind going through my grades.
God. That bad, eh?
That bad.
Oh my God.
I remember like there was one spot on the wall where like if you got in trouble, you would have to put your hands up against the wall and then stand against the wall like you were getting arrested. And you would stand there for like 10 minutes. That was your punishment.
Yeah, just like stare at the wall the entire time.
Stand on the wall with
your hands up.
Yeah, hands against
weird.
the wall, and then you have to stand there so like you're not messing around or whatever. And so I did that so often, my handprint started like actually showing up on the actual school wall. On the brick wall. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
My gosh.
I was a terrible student. I have memorized like in elementary school, I was in the principal's office so often that I memorized the number of ceiling tiles.
Oh yeah. I think you told me that.
Yeah. 139.
That's nuts.
139. Yeah.
The number will just stick with you forever.
That number will stick with me. If you go to Valley View right now, go into the unless they renovated, go into the principal's office, you will see 139 grimy little square tiles in the ceiling.
Just so dirty and like never sweeps with any polish or any cleaning material. Just awful, right?
Very grimy.
Yeah. But and then I just kind of got to know you more, and then I was like, what? Like you just said all these things. Yeah, I think you said casually you're interested in like jewels and gems.
Yeah, right.
And you're like, yeah, I own a business or something like that.
Exactly, yeah.
I was like, what's up? So I wanted to kind of like transition quickly into that, but also into like finishing the Ryerson stuff because that was just so much fun.
No.
Going to conferences, like I don't know, as accounting students.
Yeah, guys, that's like highly recommended. Like, chances are you're gonna lose.
Just chances are you will get beat out by Waterloo or Ryerson themselves.
No, it wasn't even Waterloo and Ryerson stuff. Who won? It was like Nova Scotia or Newfoundland and like Regina
in BC.
Yeah, like like if you're in an international competition, you have like the best of like the entire province coming to represent. So like unless it's not even just like you have to be good, it's your whole team has to be solid and well prepared. Yeah. So like, you know, I'm a great presenter. I'm a great at writing cases, but that doesn't necessarily mean that everyone on my team is. And then on top of that, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm prepped. I've, you know, gone over the IFRS. I've read, you know, I've read the CFA handbook. Yeah. Like the preface at least, and am super familiar with my terminology. That's not necessarily the case, right? So chances are you're going to lose, but the experience is so worth it. Like, it's basically like a camping trip with your friends. Yeah. But like in a nice hotel.
And then you're just like wearing nicer clothes.
Exactly. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
And then just like downtown or even Niagara. So we went to Niagara. Right. And we went to Brock, and it's just, that's the thing. Like I don't know. I just met so many cool people, and it was just a great experience to just kind of go 100%. Out and just have fun. Because like, yeah, we like in Brock we came second, which is like amazing. Exactly. But that was like also an easier case. Like the Ryerson case you guys were talking to me about, like it was nuts. Just so tough and so like analytical and like to the point.
So it was a harder case, but it wasn't like anything that out of the ordinary. The main issue with it was that like we got caught up in trying to do like the whole financials rather than like just doing, you know, a quick discounted cash flow. We did the discounted cash flow, and then we went beyond that, and we're like, I'm getting a bit too technical now, but
that's all right. That's cool.
Like basically, like instead of just doing the requirements, we did the requirements, and then we were trying to figure out something that we didn't need, and we spent too much time on that. And that's what cost us.
Well, that's the same thing we did with Brock, but dude, it was like the case was not anything like the Ryerson
Fair
case.
enough.
It was like literally. So that was 2018. It was back when like the laws were passing about like marijuana being legal,
right?
And it was like, how we were literally focusing on the negative and positive social impacts of marijuana being introduced. Literally nothing about accounting. Like, what does that have to do? Anyway, so I talked about this with Doss, but it was just so funny because we were just like hyping it up. We were like, I did like the negative impact. So I was like, you have to clean your marijuana instruments when you're using it in parties, and like it's just so unsanitary,
right?
And no, that was a great time. But even with like just going back to Ryerson, so our journey was hilarious because I like half snuck in. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
right. Because like it was a group of 4,
right?
So you, Doss, YL, and you,
right?
And sorry, Justin. And then I just came and I was like, this is great. I did this last year. Let's just like hop in here. Let's just get a free trip out of this. So I went in as their accounting coach, right? That was like my main role. So I went in and, you know, was like right beside the lady. Remember Susan in the morning, or it was late at night?
Right.
The lady with the little clipboard. She's like, all right, so team 4, UIT, let's go. And I was just like, I just repeated I was like, all right, yeah, team 4, we got to go. And they're like, I just said that. I'm like, yeah, but I'm their coach. So I just want to make sure everything's good. But it was fun because we went that night. They had a great like dinner set up for us.
Food was so good.
Oh my gosh. Remember that chocolate like dessert we got?
Dessert was awesome, and those mashed potatoes. Like I will not forget those.
Oh my god. It was, and then we drank.
So good.
So you weren't, the funny thing was, so they obviously didn't have a name for me because I didn't sign up. So they didn't have a space for me.
Right.
At any of the tables.
Yeah.
So I was upstairs because you guys went down. I was like nervous.
Right.
So I was like, I don't want to go down if I don't have a table because I don't want to like show and be like, yo, what's up?
Right. How did you end up getting a seat then?
That is so funny. So I was like ready to already go out because me and Weil were going to go to like the club.
Right.
And I was like halfway back up the stairs. And then Dawson texted me. He's like, yo, there's a seat right beside me. Come down. I was like, hell yeah. So I ran down the stairs and then literally like no name, just an open seat. So I was like,
yeah, exactly.
Definitely taking that.
Of course, yeah.
So, and then I was beside like the VP of marketing. So anyway, so there was, I think it was Jackson Triggs. I remember because I love this wine. 4 bottles, two red, 2 white. And I don't know, me and this other girl were like, do you want to no one's, it was like halfway through dinner. Everyone's already presenting. Like it was like the final, like, people that are coming by from like whatever, PwC, all these people. So I was like, you want to just like crack open some wine? Like no one's even touched it. So I grabbed the wine. We both pour ourselves half a glass, just slug that down. And long story short, we finished all 4 bottles of wine at the table. And that was a great time.
Yeah.
It was great. And then they had the photo booth there.
Right. The photo booth was awesome there. They had so many props, and obviously it's like cheesy, dorky stuff. You're just having a good time. But like, it's just a blast. Like you're actually like, those are good memories that you're going to make with your friends. So.
Oh yeah. Like me and Dustin literally talked about it for like half an hour.
Yeah.
Like it was just so fun. Like all the things like we did. And I don't know, that's kind of, you get to know more people because I feel like even in university, like, you have class of people, you do assignments, but like when you get to let loose and you go, so we're literally in Niagara, down the strip, like we're doing midi putting, we're going to like, what was it, Dragonfly or one of the bars.
Right.
We went to the casino for the first time. And I don't know, it was just a lot of fun.
They had a casino at Ryerson too.
Did we go? I don't think we went.
No, they had a casino in Ryerson.
Oh, yeah. All the chips.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Do you want to explain that? Like,
so they had a free casino. They did like blackjack and like poker and like a few like classic games, and like the chips weren't worth anything. And then like the kids were just complaining for like not the kid, like the delegates were complaining for like a good 10, 15 minutes. Like, we don't win anything. What's the point of gambling? Like they were just arguing with like the dealers, and the dealers are like all like volunteers of the society. They're like, dude, I don't care, man. I'm just volunteering to be here to get the night done. Like,
exactly.
Like, I'm here to, like, for you guys to have fun. Like, do you really expect me to giving away thousands of dollars?
Yeah, people were pissed. They're like, why am I not earning actual money? Like, what do you? This is like, it's a game. It's it's a half joke.
Right. Like, the entitlement is just like,
I know.
Would you go to a casino and be like, okay, yeah, give me all these chips that are worth actual money for free? Like,
you play the slot. You play the slots. Why are they so tight? I've lost $1,500. Like, what? It's a casino. They can't be shelling out thousands of dollars to everyone every single time.
Like, you play with like a 5 and then you expect 1,500 every single. Like, it just nonsense. Yeah.
But it was kind of fun because we found like not a loophole, but a couple people that were super chill. So I think they only so blackjack, and then there was like a guessing game, and we found a couple people that were just like, yo, I'll give you more than one chip.
Exactly.
So I'll give you like 5 if you win. So we had an entire stack. Yeah. And that's when we took the disposable photo. So we had an entire stack of like 50 chips by the end of the night. I was like, yo, who's the winner right now? I thought they were going to do a draw or something.
Yeah, they didn't do like most chips or anything.
No. I was like, God,
they should have done that because that was just like fun. Like who could get them? Like, it's all luck, but
yeah, you win like, I don't know, like some prize, like even like a notebook or something like that, like a Ryerson notebook.
Just like the thrill of winning kind of thing.
Yeah, like it was just, I don't know. That was just like a super fun time. And then even like the photo booth, we were just like messing around. We were like doing all these like weird funny hats and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. Like it was.
I was thinking about the chips. Like, I feel like at one point we controlled like 1 in every 5 chips in the circulation. Like
we had my pockets were full. Yeah. By like halfway through the night.
Yeah.
And like, oh man.
We were 100% the Bezos of Ryerson Fake Casino. 1,000%.
Ryerson Fake. Yeah, we were. And we were by the. So there was like, whatever, like 10 table games. And at the very end, there was like that massive wheel. So you put 1 chip down and you try to win. And we pulled out like a whole stack. And the lady's like, where'd you get all those chips? Like, they're like, we've been playing for like a couple hours. She's like, no, you haven't. Where'd you get them? We're like, Jeff. I'm like, no. Don't start anything. We didn't do anything bad.
Yeah.
But other than the presentation, like it was just like a lot of fun. And But anyways, circling back to the hot tub. Yeah, you told me that you owned your own business, so I kind of want to like mix in a little bit of that. So Core Gems, you own Core Gems, and then you told me you just have a huge passion for it. Yeah. Ever since you were like a kid, I think. So you went to like garage sales and you like found like little small gems and stuff like that. So I kind of want to know your story of like kind of how you started. I think it's super interesting because I think it's really cool.
Did I stop recording?
Yeah, no, it's a little update that's going on, but yeah.
Okay, good. So I didn't find any gems at garage sales. I don't think people sell their like prized jewelry at like their garage sale. Yeah. What actually happened was I found a $1 book bin at a garage sale when I was 15, and one of the books in there was just called Gemstones, and I read that book cover to cover like 20 times, and that book described in detail like what gemstones are, why they're valued, and it went into the history of it, like what exactly is a gemstone. So if you think about what gemstones mean to society, it's a store of wealth. It's the smallest store of wealth on earth, other than maybe like antimatter or like some rare scientific materials. A ruby the size of your thumbnail can be worth $30 to $50 million if it's the right kind, the right color, the right origin, all that. And the most expensive diamond ever sold was like $72 million. So I was like, I never knew. Like, I always knew, you know, you see gems in like popular culture, right? You see them like in Zelda, you see them in like a bunch of TV shows and a bunch of movies, and you're like, they always have like magical powers or mystical powers. Or they're like, or it's like the domain of royalty, and like everyone wants to get it. There's heists to get them. So it really represents like all the power and wealth coming together into like a tiny little dot, just because it's rare and pretty. That's it. And once I understood that, I was like, okay, there's definitely, so like I want in. And I started buying them on the internet. And when you buy them on the internet, it's like the pictures they use are so misleading. I was buying them from Thailand, and the sellers would use such misleading pictures and videos, and I was like, this looks nothing like
it would look fake, or like, what do you mean?
So no, they weren't fake. So they were real, because I would buy with reports, and I'm talking like under $100 stones at this point. So this is like me just like with my pocket money. Yeah. I'm 15, 16, right? Like, it's just whatever stuff I have saved up from doing chores, just buying stuff off the internet for like $50, $100, right? Yeah. So imagine that you bought. So when it comes to gemstones, it's all about how bright the color is. And so imagine that you bought something that looked like a stop sign in terms of red. Then when you got it, it looked like this table. It's like so dark.
Just dark and like
dark.
Just so the
Exactly.
photo would be like obviously a totally different color.
So how they would do the photos is like, so right now there's a big halo light shining at us, right?
Yeah.
So they would take the stone and put it like right up against the light so that it's as bright as it ever can possibly be.
Oh.
But
that makes
it
obviously more
never
sense.
would look like that.
Right.
You never see it like that in real life. So I decided like, okay, there's a problem. There's a gap in the market. People want gemstones. People want to buy gemstones that look just like their pictures. And then, so I decided like, so that was the mission, to deliver gemstones that look like their pictures and videos on the internet. That was the vision, was to get it to the point where you could go on the internet and buy the stone and it will look exactly the same every time. Then to actually achieve that, I had to look into how can I add value? How can I source these stones in a way that I'm adding value? If I'm just buying them off the internet and like reselling them, then like what value am I adding? So I started buying from, so in Thailand, they cut the stones for weight. That means they cut them to be as big as possible. So I started buying stones that were already cut, and then I would send them to Germany, India, the US, depending on where I could find specialist factories for the cutting. And I would send it to there. They would recut it to Western standards, right?
Yeah.
So right now it's being cut just as big as possible, just for weight, and it's just going to be sold in the local Thailand market. And then you transform that into something that's really beautiful. Like the difference in cutting is night and day. It can make a stone go from a C stone to an A+ stone just because
It's that big a difference.
it's massive.
Really?
It's, the reason is because all of the refraction that happens in the stone, all of the color that concentration of color that happens in the stone is all dependent on how proportionate the cutting is. Are the facets in the right place? Are the lines looking right? Is the finishing and polishing good? All of that comes together to make a very beautiful stone or a very ugly stone. And transforming those ugly stones into beautiful stones, that investment increase the value considerably. Then the second thing we do is we get the stone certified. So now I have a beautiful stone that's been recut and is up to American and Hong Kong standards of cutting. Now I need people to be able to have no doubt that this is an authentic stone. So there's laboratories around the world that specialize. They do nothing except test gemstones and verify their authenticity. This is a natural stone. And what people can do is take a natural stone and heat it in a commercial furnace, or they can even inject it with polymers and glass to fill up all the cracks.
Yeah.
If that happens, depending on the stone, that stone is now worthless. So these laboratories are there to, one, make sure the stone is really out of the earth. It's an earth mined stone, or it's out of the ocean, like if it's a pearl. So it's a natural gemstone. And the second facet that they're looking at is, has there been any treatment done to the stone? And verifying it, you can't do it at home. Even if you have you have to study for 3-4 years. You need a degree in geology to really be able to set the policy for testing. You need a gemological degree to be able to actually do the testing. And then on top of that, the equipment that they use, there's certain infrared spectrometers and certain machines that they use are just the machine alone is in the millions.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be able to know. So that's the value that they're adding. And then the reports are anywhere from about $50 up to upwards of $25,000 for a full book and pictures
Really?
and all of that. Yeah.
Oh my God.
They do a full, that's for if you have a $20 million stone though.
Right.
Exactly.
High, correct. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and it's usually a percentage of the weight, so the price goes up depending on how heavy or big the stone is. And then the rare types of stones have more expensive reports.
Yeah.
But anyway, so those two things are in place. So there's 3 prongs to our approach. So first is getting good cutting. Second is the report to verify the authenticity. And then the third thing we do is we take the most accurate pictures and videos on the planet. So we use a super high-end Sony mirrorless camera with a macro lens, and we use 5 different light sources when we take our pictures. So that combination of the variety of lighting conditions, the super high-end picture and videos, and we almost always have video because videos are actually much closer to how the stone will look, because stones are dynamic, right? Like every single millimeter that you move that stone, it's going to look completely different.
Right, there's a different reflection on it because it's so transparent.
Right.
Yeah.
And that movement comes through in a video. It doesn't come through in pictures. So pretty much every stone over $100 is both has pictures and videos, and they're super high resolution. And yeah, those 3 things allow us to dominate the market and really capture a really good market share. And then we back that up with the best customer service. So customer service was like, before I started a gem business and got to where I am, I worked at Walmart, and it was all about customer service. And my manager was like super big. My manager / mentor was super big on customer service. And he taught me it costs 10 times more to get a new customer than it does to keep an existing customer. Just keep them happy, right?
Yeah.
And a loyal customer is going to come back to you for life because they just know you. Even if they see something, even if they see a competitor that has something appealing, unless they know for sure, especially when it's something like a gemstone where it's all about trust, right?
Right.
That customer is just going to keep coming back. And to make sure that we keep our customers, we offer 60-day free returns. I'll pay for return shipping.
Do you really?
Yeah.
That's dope. Yeah, that's great.
And my return rate, because of the good quality pictures, the good cutting, all of that, my return rate is 0.1%.
Wow.
So out of every
that's awesome.
1,000 sales, I get 1 return on average.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's very, very rare that a customer returns their item because they're good stones, right?
Yeah.
And then you'll get you'll hear back from us within 12 hours. I have a freelancer hired in Thailand whose job it is to just make sure customers are happy. As soon as a customer
satisfaction, yeah,
exactly. As soon as a customer inquiry comes in, I didn't receive this yet, she'll be on it. She'll be checking the tracking number, following up with the courier, just making sure the customer's happy all the time. So that's what we do.
Yeah. Which is kind of crazy because even when we were just going back to the hot tip thing, because I just love that. I love that analogy. I use it with DOS, so I use BCA, so it was a class we both took.
Right.
And I use the analogy of we're both in line waiting for the prof, and then we just kind of turn to each other. So it was, I don't know, it's not connected to customer service, but it's just using your resources around you and be like, hey, and then you just start this random connection. Yeah. So it's so funny that you talk about, customer reliance, customer loyalty, because even if, I don't know, say you own a business, whatever.
Right.
And you hike the prices up 5%. People are still going to be like, you know what, I love this guy. I love the way he does. The customer service is amazing. I'm still going to go to him. I'm not going to go this cheaper person and lose that human connection, lose that brand. It's a brand loyalty, really. And I think it's just super interesting how someone so young can just, you know what, I'm going to do this. This is my passion. I find this really interesting. And fuck it, I see a niche. Right. And you just go into it. I find that so honorable to do that while in school, while finishing an undergraduate, while still doing 3 internships. Five. Yeah. 5 internships. Guys, I did 1. And I can it's just nuts. I don't know. It's it's not like stamina, but it's this encouragement or this drive that you have, and it's just really honorable, and it's really cool. That's why I'm I wanted to sit down with you to obviously joke and whatever for 5, 10, 15 minutes. Right. And then I love how you went on an explanation of how your business, because that's really what I want to talk about, because it's so incredibly interesting. And the passion that you talk about, you're I love this stuff. I love doing this. And even with, you hire a couple people, you're helping them as well. Right. And, you're making pretty good money as well. And at such a young age, people obviously our age are trying to come up, and for you to come at that point is amazing. So I congratulate you. No, I'm I think it's so cool. And I just want to keep talking about it.
No, thank you so much. I think you're you're hyping me up a bit too much.
No, I you deserve all the hype.
No, thank
Honestly,
you.
like I tell people, I'm like, yeah, I met this guy at this conference. He's
Mm-hmm.
the most interesting guy.
Mm-hmm.
And like even you said the other day when we went out to Chuck's, remember that the fifth overtime
right
with Tampa?
Yeah.
That was nuts.
Yeah.
You called it though. You called right in point
I
scoring.
knew it was gonna happen. Like,
But you were like, yeah, I live in. You just it's so funny. I think you're so interesting. You're just like nonchalant, say these things. You're like, yeah, I live in Calgary for like a couple of years.
Regina.
Or sorry, Regina. You're like, yeah, I lived in like another province for a couple of
Right.
years, and you're like, I was like, what's up? Like most people don't do that. And you just
Yeah.
like say it nonchalantly. I think it's just really cool.
Yeah, like one thing I realized was like you have to let go of your ego. Like, if you're constantly thinking like you're the center of the universe, like people are all selfish, right? Like, I would recommend reading the book How to Win Friends and Influence People. That book really gives you an idea of like how to navigate the workplace, navigate business relationships, navigate the world in a way that you can really achieve success by really like basically you have to let go of this me mentality. It's like for me, like when I look at it for my business, it's all about the customer. When I look at it for my internships, it's all about what my manager wants.
Right.
Like my internships are accounting and finance and stuff. It's like I need to really well understand what my manager wants, know about them on a personal level. That's how you build that relationship, right? Like I knew my manager was into kayaking. I knew she liked to go bird watching. I knew she liked to do barbecuing. Like I knew everything about her. And then on top of that, like anytime she had any request, I was there to deliver. Like, and often I would take notes when she was asking me things. And then I just kind of learned her patterns. And then before she would even ask for a deliverable, I would have it in her inbox and she'd be shocked. So it's really about valuing other human beings. And if you do that, you will be successful. Like you will be. Like I love my business and then I'm definitely going to keep it going as a side thing. If I did it full time, I'd probably make more money. I could probably do more things, but my main passion really is accounting. I love accounting and finance, and that's why I came to school for accounting.
Right.
It's it's just fascinating to me, like how you can, within the confines of accounting standards, display the material information, the economic reality of an enterprise, while achieving certain objectives.
Yeah.
And you need to do it within the accounting standards, and you need to do it with stakeholders in mind, and make sure that you're complying in every way. But then if there are any management objectives that need to be achieved, while making sure that you're not breaking the rules and you're doing everything correctly in terms of accounting standards, in terms of regulations, in terms of stakeholder objectives, then you can report. And just the balancing between all of those, like I personally enjoyed reporting side the most, because I feel like that's where your ability to really understand stakeholder needs comes into play the most. So yeah, that's why I'm still doing a bachelor's in accounting.
Well, even like the accountants, like they're literally the root of the whole business.
Mm-hmm.
Like they control the entire financial. They're like, hey, we're lacking this thing. They're, I want to say the spark plug, because I think that's maybe more sales, but like they're literally like the engine that keeps it going. I would say most of it.
So I would say if we're using a car as an analogy, I would say the engine is like I would say so if we look within an engine, I don't know engines that well. I don't know cars that well.
I don't know either. That's all right.
We'll have to use a different analogy. If we look at a business as a tree, right? So the fruits are profits, right? And the roots, I wouldn't say accountants are the roots. The roots would be the owners, the shareholders. That's the financing. That's where the money is coming from.
Right.
The accountants are more like they're not quite nerves and veins, but they do the equivalent. They move. Yeah. So finance would be the ones that actually say we need to move money from here. Like we need to take this. We need to get financing, and then we need to do something with this financing. Mm-hmm. That's finance. Yeah. But accounting is the one that's saying, okay, so accounting is the one that's recording all of that. Accounting is the one that is saying how did it happen, and then within. So an oak tree, it doesn't give out all of its acorns at once.
Yeah.
What it does is it gives out a varying number every year. So every about 10 years, you'll have a bumper crop of acorns, and in certain years, you'll have like very few.
Yeah.
So people were thinking, like, why don't they just maintain it midway through, right? And the reason is squirrels bury the acorns, and if you kept it at a constant level, the squirrel population would adjust to that level.
Right.
But if you have a bumper crop in just 1 year, what ends up happening is the squirrels have so many acorns that they end up burying them, and then new oak trees grow out. Right?
Exactly.
So that's an objective of the oak tree. Similarly, management reporting objectives more likely, rather than having those ups and downs, are more likely be smoothing. Like, can I defer this expense within IFRS? Can I record this revenue early within the confines of IFRS, and making sure, and then communicating that to stakeholders and making sure that everyone knows exactly what is going on.
Right.
So
that was a great analogy. Goddamn.
Thank you.
I was worried because I don't know anything about cars, and I was like, he's gonna pull out some stuff that I have no idea. He's gonna,
I know
the
nothing about cars
exhaust is
either.
like the mill and the finance.
No.
I was like, but I think the oak tree is like really interesting. That's a great analogy there.
Yeah, thank you.
I want to go back to something you said with just your business and like customer service. So I think something I try to do a lot in just in my daily life, I try to be very genuine with people.
Right.
It's not even like I'm this person. I don't take any bullshit. If I'm a dick, I'm a dick. I'm a douche. I'm a douche. It's just like being myself, kind of like all the time.
For sure.
I think that you're really good with that in like customer service.
Mm-hmm.
So you really care about that, and even with like human relations, I think that's good for just general life.
For sure, 100%. Yeah.
And when you meet someone, just like be yourself. Like if you're, whatever, like how we again the hot tub analogy. If you're like funny and you want to do some funny stuff, like just joke around,
Right.
like whatever, like poke fun at stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I think we initially connected, because of like just joking around and like fucking around. Like I didn't say like, whatever, like, oh, this guy's like, ooh, it says a business, so maybe I can get a job out of him. Like that's the thing. Even with networking, and like obviously you've been in a bunch of networking events. People that go in, whatever, who I don't know who's watching, but people that go into, say, a networking event, and I obviously know people in first year. I've tried to help them out being a part of the accounting association. You can't go up to someone and say, hey, you're Jeff, can I have a job? Yeah. Like you just have to establish that actual connection. And you can't be like this person that goes in and be like, yeah, I want this, I want this, I want this. So you have to establish like, oh, what are your interests? Oh, what are you doing right now? And it's not like at the end goal, you want something out of that person. Like I genuinely like wanted, as soon as I met you, I'm like, I genuinely wanted to establish like, this guy's a really cool guy. And I think he would be just an interesting person to talk to. Right. And I wanted to learn from him in a lot of different ways. I'm like, you know what? He probably could be a great friend. That's what that's my honest, that's my honest thing. And even with, meeting all these people through a university, like you have to establish, like you can't be in the back of your mind thinking, oh, I'm going to get something out of this person. I think that's really important. And a lot of people, I don't know, maybe don't get. Yeah. People are like, oh, I'm going to get something out of this person. Yeah. And I really I'm trying to for sure, not patent it, but obviously like do that a lot with a lot of people. Like, I just I love talking to people. Right. Like, even when I was in retail, people would come up to me and be like, I want this from this shelf, go to aisle 9. Like some people you just want to talk to. Yeah, for sure. And I think that's just really good to make that establishing connection. Right. And then, build off it. If not, that's all right. Yeah, for sure. And not building or not breaking or burning any bridges. In a lot of people. But yeah, it's just really cool how things work out and how situations happen. Yeah. And yeah, no, you nailed it. You nailed it. You said it just right, because it's all about like the employer doesn't care what you are going to get out of the job, right? The employer cares what are you going to bring to the job? How do you add value to the business? Like, how do I what skills and abilities do I have that help the employer, help the team, help the enterprise, right? So that's one thing you definitely have to understand, is that people don't care about you. They just don't. They care about themselves, right? That's innate. Like, if you look at evolution, like we were evolved to care about ourselves, maybe our family, our family, and then maybe
our friends and neighbors,
Right.
like that little circle, especially strangers. There's very little regard to, obviously people are different, but generally it's very hard for people to have empathy about small problems, especially like, of course, like an earthquake and everything, we all come together, but something small like, is this person going to get a job or not? That's not really my concern.
Oh, I do the same thing in HR, and I want to get too into my job, but you go through 500 resumes in 3 days.
Right. You
have to look for the best of the best, and even with, you look at people that have great customer service, because obviously, like some tellers and stuff like that. That's what we focus on. Like we're a small branch, we focus on that, and it's just like going back to the human connection.
Right.
Like you have to establish that first, and like we have a lot of older members,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what they care about. So you have to know your business, know your stuff like that,
Right.
And I think that's a really important piece that maybe a lot of larger companies don't get, because even like you look at, I love using Tesla as a great example, because obviously we know about the Tesla stock and how it's absolutely
skyrocketed,
just nuts.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of memes and stuff like that. Like they have awful customer service, right? Like I've heard people, a couple people I know that have Teslas, like you call into like their branch, be like, yeah, I don't know, this is not working on whatever,
right? And
they just don't answer.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a bunch of things like that. They just don't really care. But I think they get away with that because of
how much demand there is for their product.
Because they want it.
Right.
It's a now established brand. They're like, yeah, I want this. This is cool. Right. And I think that's really
for sure
interesting as well. But I think it's just kind of cool how people kind of draw into that and then like lose it a bit. But then they're like, I don't really care because it's like a cool brand.
Yeah. And then you can even have the exact opposite approach of not caring, but actively being a bit discouraging. In some like luxury retailers like Hermes and stuff, what they do is they're actually kind of rude to you. And yeah, they're snooty. And the reason for that is that it creates this sense of, oh, I have to have it. Why are they not letting me into the club? Why are they not welcoming me? What do I need to do to get to this? So that's a completely different strategy, but that doesn't work in 99% of situations. 99% of the time, you have to bring forward something that helps the other person out, and then it'll work a lot smoother that way. Yeah,
for sure. And it's just more it's kind of sad, like, what are you going to do for me kind of thing? And even with a job, like, what are you going to add value? Exactly. And you have to kind of like,
right.
I hated this, like, kind of growing up, but you have to, going into interviews, like, even in second year, like, I was struggling to find a job. I was working. It's kind of funny how you look back a year from now, like, where you were a year from now. For me, it's totally different. A year from now, I was working at an ice cream shop. Not that I was like, oh, I'm coming from humble beginnings, but I was working at an ice cream shop, and I was, like, dreaming of, like, working at a company and, like, doing this thing kind of thing. So it's kind of interesting to go back and be like, I was working towards that kind of thing, but it was just like I lost my train of thought there. I don't know where I was going with that point. It was really good, and I lost it.
Ice cream company, you were thinking about working at an office. Yeah.
Oh, so so establishing that human connection in interviews. So I had a bunch of interviews. I made a bunch of videos about this, but I had like 7 interviews.
Wow.
In like 3 days. So I used to do like 3 a day for maybe 3 weeks. And I came across this one interview, and it was the best story. I love it. I love telling people this because it's like, go back and fix your mistakes, because people don't tell you what you did wrong or what's wrong with you, you'll never know. So say, like, I don't know, like I do something crazy to people as soon as I meet them, and I never know because people don't tell me, that I'll never know. Dumb analogy, but whatever. So I go into this interview, and it was my 4th one of the day. I go from, it was all jobs in the university.
Okay.
Doing simple jobs like payroll and shit like that. So at like 10 o'clock a.m., maybe 10:30 whatever it is, it's my 4th interview of the day. I'm dead. I'm drained. I don't like talking about myself. But you have that was my point. Sorry. You have to kind of sell yourself. Right. In the point where you're not bragging, but you're like, this is what I add. So I was in the interview, and I'm just like so dead. I don't care. Like, it's not like I don't care, but I was like, I don't even know if I'm getting it. Was like for a tutoring job.
For sure.
I don't even know if I'm getting it. And it's funny because I met the guy at the orientation before this. So it was last year. Anyway, so I go in the interview, was talking to the guy, and I guess I was very, I'll get to this. So I guess I was very douchey. Right. So I was going in. I was like, yeah, I'm a part of this. I'm doing that. And I love just doing that. So I would go on these little tangents. I'll be like, yeah, I just love doing this. And like, it's awesome. So I love doing that. It's great.
Right.
And I did that for like 3 or 4 times. And I get an email back probably 1 or 2 days later. And it was like, yeah, you didn't get it. And I was like, this is bullshit. I thought I did great.
Right.
So out of like the 12 interviews that I did, I emailed this guy back. I'm like, hey, can I have a follow-up interview? I've never done this.
Right.
And I went in, and this guy tore into me.
Ooh.
He like shredded me to bits. He's like, you know what, Zach? I'll be honest. You were an asshole.
Oh.
We were face to face, 5 feet away. He's like, you were literally a douchebag.
Ooh.
I was like, what's up? He's like, yeah, you're a dick. Like, you were so cocky in this interview, and yeah, I didn't hire you because I didn't like you.
Wow.
And we literally were there for probably an hour.
Wow.
And we're just like more on the side of shooting the shit.
Right.
And actually having a genuine conversation. And that's the thing. Like, maybe I was like too focused on this is a job. I have to say these things, these criteria for him to like me. And I'm like, maybe I should have just been myself. Yeah. And literally he said, maybe it was an hour and a half because I was there for a long time. Like, I think whatever, it was at 3 o'clock. I left at like 5:15 or quarter after, maybe it was like 4:30 anyways.
Right.
And he was like, it was so funny. I love telling this because it was so vivid in my mind. It was such a pivotal point for me. He was like, why weren't you like this in the interview?
Yeah.
And I'm like, was I really that different?
Right.
I'm like, my God. So then it's like, not that like I'm this philosopher. I'm like, I got to be as genuine as I can with everyone that I meet because no one fucking cares.
Yeah.
No one cares about like not who you are, but don't hype yourself up.
Yeah.
Be who you are in front of people that you're with. Yeah. Because I think I'm going this long tangent, but I love this. Yeah. People don't try to be something you're not. Be who you are because that's who your true friends are going to be. Sure. And who how your passions are going to come out, how your interests are going to come out, how you truly love what you do is going to come out on your true self and lying to yourself and building yourself up as this praised person. I'm like, oh, I'm doing this. Right. Oh, I'm a part of the accounting association. I'm great. No, who cares? Right. You do all these things because you want to do it. And that interview hit me good, but it came out, this is a kind of wrap around the story. So this guy told me I'm a douchebag, told me I'm an asshole, told me I'm a dick, and it was true. Maybe I was. I don't really know. I blanked out. It was, like I said, fourth interview of the day. Right. And so I go and he tells me all these things. He's like, you know what, Zach? Why weren't you like this in the interview? We'll keep in touch. And if anything comes up, I'll let you know. Wow. So I was in early November, October. I don't really remember last year. And second week of October or November, he sends me an email. He's like, Michelle. Okay. Sends me a message. She's like, hey, I might have an opportunity for you. So the guy who interviewed me emailed Michelle, one of my good friends, says, hey, yeah, there's this place, this banking and company, credit union, has an opportunity for a place like you, position like you that wants a position. Right. And anyways, long story short, sends me all the information, going for the interview, get the internship in November and then do it this year. So I love telling that story because I'm like, that's the thing. If I didn't go in for the follow-up interview, I would have never got an internship. And I would never got a part-time gig through school. And I mean, hopefully. Fingers crossed, right? Fingers crossed. After I graduate, hopefully a full-time job. Exactly. So it's so funny, like, I think I was grateful that in the word of Darren, I was an asshole. Yeah. I was a douchebag. Yeah. I was a dick in that interview because I would have never known. Maybe that's how I acted in the other interviews. And I think it was just a great experience overall to wrap that up and to kind of have that almost like Maddie always talks about this, my girlfriend. She always self-reflects and talks about how can I be better? How can I improve? Sure. And maybe that was my point. And I think it was just so interesting. I love telling that story. Yeah, no, it's an awesome story. Yeah, like I'm pretty sure I made a video about it, and I was so happy even with my part-time gig at the university. I was a call center guy. Yeah. you know, you're so grateful for the next step. You know what I mean? Like
your career, yeah.
Yeah, like you said, you worked at Walmart. I worked at, you know, a bunch of grocery stores and an ice cream place.
Yeah.
So that next step, you're so happy.
Yeah, for sure.
You're so grateful for it.
For sure.
So I think that, you know, going that next step and then getting that criticism, it's almost like I said, calling people out and be like, you know what, you're doing this wrong. And maybe people don't handle that well, but I'm like, you know what, maybe I am doing that thing
for
wrong.
sure.
It worked out perfectly for me.
100%.
But yeah, I love telling that story. But anyways, we'll go watch the game now. I think it's it, game 5 now?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's,
yeah.
It is game 5.
Is it game 5?
It's 4, I think. No, it is game 5.
No, because Tampa won 3 and then Dallas won 1.
You're right.
All right, cool.
It's game 5.
I just realized the time. I was like, oh shit, we want to watch this to see if the Tampa wins the Stanley Cup here. So, but I didn't want to cut you off. I wanted to keep going because this was a great conversation.
For
sure.
No, I just want to comment a bit on what you said. Like, if you
right.
can't learn from your criticism, like if you get that opportunity for criticism, you should value criticism a lot more than praise. That's where you learn, and that's where you realize things that you don't know about yourself. You don't know how you come across because you can't see yourself. You don't know what you did wrong.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And as you said, like 90% of communication is nonverbal.
Yeah.
And
oh my gosh.
So in that same vein, like, you know, they might make a bit of a grimace, or they might, like, you know, look away or not be as engaged, but you can't tell that directly from what they're saying. It's opportunities like criticism where you get that exact what I did wrong and how I can improve. So
so one of my favorite movies, this is the final wrap up.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen Whiplash?
No, I haven't.
Oh, great movie. It's about this studio drummer, young kid in the States. He goes to the best drumming school, best musical school in all of the States.
Right.
Has this crazy...
there's a drumming school? What's a drumming school?
No, it's like a musical school.
Okay, so like Juilliard or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Okay. So anyways, long story short, so he has this teacher that like is super hard on him, wants him to do all these things. So at the end of the movie, he says the worst 2 words in the entire English language is "good job."
Good job. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I've heard that phrase before.
Yeah, like it was an amazing movie. I love the movie. Mm-hmm. And it was like, you know, someone who, you know, not everyone has to be perfect. Not everyone has to be this amazing, successful person. Right. So, but the statement meant, like, you know, it's kind of toxic to say people they're doing a mediocre job. So, oh, good job. Don't worry. No, you're going to do a good job. Yeah, right. Like, I needed that to, like, maybe I was an asshole. Maybe I was doing that. And that's what pushed me to be like, you know what? I'll do amazing this interview. Mm-hmm. I researched the shit out of this interview. I knew exactly what they were going to say, all this stuff. So, you know, maybe not everyone needs that. Maybe everyone not needs to go to the next level. That's fine. That's totally fine. But I think that movie and that quote hit me so good because, like, you know, maybe if I want to improve, maybe saying good job and that's the thing. If the guy's like, you did great. If I went in there like, no, you were great, I would have never known. I would have never got that next opportunity. For sure. That's like the cool part. But anyways, Whiplash, great movie.
Sounds good.
Everyone watch it. Yeah. But anyways, I'll end it here. We'll go watch the rest of the game. Muhammad, dude, it was a lot of fun.
Pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.
It was like I learned a lot, and I think you enticed the audience about a lot about business and how to kind of get started. So I think it was really cool. That's what I'm saying. You're the most interesting guy.
Thank you.
I think it was more. It was not like serious, but I think it was great to get that knowledge out. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. It was great. So anyways, subscribe or do all that shit. I don't know. He has a YouTube channel. Check out buy his gems. All right, cool.
Thanks so much. Yeah.
All right, dope. Sick.